He walked in earlier than usual that morning. The board meeting had been rescheduled, and as the elevator door slid open to his penthouse, the quiet hum of his ultra-modern apartment greeted him along with something else. Typing. Rapid, focused. Typing. Christopher Hale, tech billionaire and CEO of Helexon Systems, had a reputation for being sharp, calculated, and ruthlessly efficient. Every second of his day was planned, every decision measured. So when he heard someone using his personal workstation, the same system locked behind fingerprint access and encrypted protocols, his brow furrowed. He stepped softly, almost predator-like, down the hall lined with abstract art and dim golden light. The faint glow from his office spilled across the polished marble floor. The door was slightly ajar. He peered inside. There she was, kneeling, awkwardly perched on his ergonomic leather chair, her eyes darting across dual curved monitors as streams of code scrolled like poetry. It was Alira, the maid, barely 22. Albanian accent, quiet, always polite, usually invisible. Until now. His voice cut through the air like a blade. "What do you think you're doing?" Alira froze. Her hands lifted slightly from the keyboard like a guilty pianist caught mid-performance. She turned slowly, her face drained of color. I'm sorry, sir. He stepped in, anger rising. "You broke into my system." No, I didn't break. I didn't hack anything. I used the test environment, the sandbox. Terminal. I didn't touch your personal files. His jaw tightened. "You're not supposed to be here. You clean, that's your job. You don't write code on my machine." I know, sir. "Please, I just needed a few minutes, just one shot." Christopher paused. "One shot." "You're telling me you wrote this?" He motioned to the screen. Lines of code shimmered in syntax-perfect symmetry. No typos, no lazy shortcuts. It wasn't just functional, it was elegant. "The kind of code you felt." She nodded, barely meeting his eyes. "It's a compression algorithm. Adaptive, it rewrites itself based on predicted data structures." Christopher blinked. That kind of logic wasn't beginner stuff. It wasn't even advanced. It was genius. He turned back to her, studying her face smudged with a little dust, her eyes ringed with sleeplessness, but focused, alive. She was terrified, but not of being fired. She was terrified of not being believed. Who taught you this? No one. She whispered. "Books, forums, I watch lectures online after work." "And you?" "I used to watch your old interviews. You said once that the world doesn't need more billionaires. It needs builders." He remembered that line. He'd said it 5 years ago, before the company IPO, when idealism still had a place in his calendar. "I don't have a degree," she continued, voice shaking. "And no one will look at me because I clean houses, but I know I'm good. I just wanted someone to see it once." Christopher turned back to the screen. He clicked through her code, his fingers now curious instead of confrontational. The structure wasn't just theoretical, it worked. She had built a functioning prototype that could cut data storage overhead by 30%, maybe more, if it scaled. He stepped back. For a moment, he wasn't the CEO. He was the kid who had once stayed up all night in his dorm room coding because the world outside felt too big and too loud. And here she was. Another kid, not in a dorm but in his house. With no support, no resume, just raw, undeniable skill. He exhaled. "Why didn't you apply somewhere?" She looked down. "I tried. I sent 50 emails, no replies. The one that did respond said they don't train maids. Another offered to pay me $100 for the code if I gave up my name." He looked at her again, this time not as a trespasser, but as something much more dangerous to the status quo. A spark. A builder. Silence stretched between them. Then he spoke. "You need to clean up the memory leak in your recursive loop." Line 128. She looked surprised. "You read that fast." You wrote it fast, he countered. "Sit down." She hesitated. Sit, he repeated, softer this time. She sat back at the desk. He pulled up a chair beside her. They spent the next 3 hours shoulder to shoulder debugging, refactoring, arguing, laughing. Christopher hadn't touched code himself in over a year. Meetings, acquisitions, speaking engagements had consumed him. But that morning, in the quiet sanctum of his own office, the act of building something again reminded him why he ever started. Alira was sharp. Her instincts were honed not in a classroom, but through survival. She asked questions that mattered, skipped over fluff, and dove into problems with the hunger of someone who knew this was her only door. By the time the sun hit the glass walls of the penthouse, Christopher made a call. Elena, cancel the rest of my morning meetings. His assistant on the other end sounded confused. But the investors tell them I'm busy, and send a contract template to my office. Junior Dev, R&D team, use internal HR. He looked at Alira. Welcome. To Helexon. She blinked at him. What? I'm hiring you. Internally. Starting today. Full access to the Sandbox network. I'll handle the credentials. She looked like she didn't believe him. But I clean for you. Not anymore, he said. Your new job is to build things that scare people. Especially the ones who underestimate you. Her lips trembled, and for a moment, she couldn't speak. Tears filled her eyes. Not the dramatic kind, the silent, overwhelmed kind. The kind that came from years of being told she was invisible. She nodded, barely able to whisper, "Thank you." Don't thank me, he said. You earned this. I just saw it. Over the next few months, Alira's code became the backbone of Helexon's new compression engine Helexstream. The company rolled out the tech to global acclaim, having server costs for small businesses across the world. In every press release, Christopher made sure her name was there. But not everyone was happy. The board questioned him, investors murmured. You hired a maid. What does that say about standards? He didn't flinch. It says our standards are working, he told them. We hire the best. We don't care where they come from. And when Alira stood on stage at Helexon's annual developer summit, wearing a simple blazer and speaking with nervous clarity to an audience of 3,000 engineers, the room didn't see a maid. They saw a creator. And something shifted. One story, one chance. One CEO who paused long enough to look past the surface. She still worked late sometimes, out of habit. Sometimes she'd clean her own desk without realizing it, a muscle memory of another life. But now, she wrote code that moved across the globe. That helped kids like her get access to faster, cheaper tech. That opened doors, just like the one she once cracked open terrified when she thought no one was looking. She never touched his personal computer again. She didn't need to. Now, she had one of her own.